Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. My name's Chloe. So today's video is going to be showing you guys my eyeshadow palette collection. So yeah, this is a big one. So definitely sort of get yourself comfortable and get a drink, something to eat. This is excluding any palettes that I have decluttered. I've given to my sister, my niece, my partner's niece. These are ones that I've just kind of kept hold of, and there are a lot. There are people out there that have more than me because I have really pulled back on my spending the last couple of years to sort of save for the house and other things. And there are things that I see that I really want but I don't need. So I have really pulled back my spending since. But yeah, this was at a time where money was no object. I needed these palettes. If you'd like to see more of me, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram under the same handles as my YouTube, which is Chloe H2Es. But I'll pop that in the description box below, as well as a full product list of what's on my face today, just in case you're interested. I filmed both an eye and base look for this makeup look as well, so that'll be up on my channel as well for you. But I really hope you enjoy watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Okay, let's do this. Starting off, I have got Jeffree Star Pink Religion. This I don't really rate. At the time I was like, oh my god, yes, Jeffree Star's doing pink, but he hasn't done it well. He's done pink well across other palettes, but this one I don't really feel like he has. The shimmers are the best part of the palette, I will say. A lot of the pinks are the same. You put these ones on the eyes and they just kind of mix into each other, and then these are so purpley. Like, you put these on and it's just a very purpley pink when I really just want pink. So it's not something that I really reach for, because there is another pink palette in here that I'll show you that I reach for more. But yeah, that one is Pink Religion from Jeffree Star. Next I've got my Norvina. So this is the Pro Pigment palette volume 6. Now I got this for my birthday one year and I was so excited because I loved the colours in here. I really liked this row. To this day I do like this row. I think that the glitters are really pretty, but the Pro Pigment side of it I'm not a fan of. I think I might need to have another little play with it, but a few years ago I got this and I just wasn't impressed. I thought that they were quite chalky and really hard to work with. I really like the colour story in here, but yeah, I just really wasn't impressed. I think I reached for it a couple of times. I did a couple of looks that I ended up hating. I just kind of wiped off. So this palette just went deeper and deeper into my collection, like right to the bottom, and I haven't really thought of it since. I was going to pick up the orange palette, which I can't remember is volume whatever, that has like all the butterflies, the really pretty packaging that's got really nice warm shades in. But yeah, if it's anything like this one, I won't be a fan. So yeah, this one is in my collection, but it's really at the bottom. Next I've got this palette here. So this is from Melt Cosmetics. It's one of my top palettes. I do love this. So they did this palette as limited edition. Like Dana did a palette, and then I think it's Laura did hers. As you can see that she's sort of all over the palette. But there's Dana and Laura. And then yeah, just more on the back here. So it's all about her. She sort of designed this palette and it is absolutely stunning. So this is called the Gemini palette, and then you've got these greens, you've got these sort of neutral shades. They're very sort of like rusty tones, very much her. This is stunning. Both the shimmers and the mattes are just so buttery and easy to work with. I do think that the shimmers are very they're crumbly within here, but on the eyes they are delicious. I've done a lot of looks with these. Whatever I do, whether it's this or this, I end up loving. It's a very cohesive palette, very well thought out, and it's one of my top palettes for a reason. It's so stunning. I can't remember what Dana's palette was, but it didn't reach out to me. Like that one really grabbed me, it like pulled me in. Next I've got the Huda Beauty Obsessions palettes. I've only got a couple of these. I've got the mauve ones here, This one's okay. Kind of reminds me of the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. I do prefer the shimmers in this one than I do to Urban Decay, but I can't really see that I've reached for the mattes in here. I didn't really pick up any more. I picked up these two. She did do quite a lot with the Mini Obsessions palette. She did like a whole gemstone collection. She really went off with it, but I don't think that she does them anymore, and I don't think she does the big palettes anymore either. Next we've got the Warm Brown Obsessions. This one I liked a bit more. As you can see, I've definitely used these two the most. Really like that shimmer shade. I was a bit meh that there was only one shimmer shade in here, but there's more shimmer shades in the mauve one. But I do like the mattes. I don't think this one has a place here. This one had definitely been replaced with something else. But yeah, it is a nice little palette that I can sort of take away with me when I do want to do eyeshadow. It's very nice to travel with. Next I have got the Jaclyn Hill palette. So this one is so sort of well kept. I've got the cardboard unicarton that it came in when she has her iconic red hair. I mean, this has been kept very clean. Look at that. I've even got it in the bloody bubble wrap. I mean, look at this. This is so pristine. And then I open this up and bam, practically brand new. So I picked up two of these. I picked up one for personal use and one for my kit. This one was my kit one, and I've only used this once. I think that I literally just did like a smoky look because I've only used 4 of the matte shades in here. I haven't used any of the shimmers, so whoever I did makeup on must not have wanted any shimmer on their eyes. But I cannot believe how well kept this palette is. I will show you my other one. I will try and take it out of the pile because that one was further up than the others. Let's see if I can take it out without... Okay, so this is my personal one. As you can see here, very battered. And how much I've actually used this one in comparison. Yeah, that one was very loved, and then that one is just pristine. So yeah, I have got 2 lots of my Jaclyn Hill palette just there. 2 lots of it. Next I have got the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. So what I found quite funny when I was looking through my collections was I have a lot of the other palettes, but I don't have the original ones. They didn't really like scream out to me. Very pretty packaging with all the little cherries on there, and then I like that they always come with a brush, and then that's just what the palette looks like. Nice shimmers, but in comparison to the Huda one that's quite similar, I preferred the Huda shimmers. I like the mattes in here. I think it's a very cohesive palette, how you've got these sort of more sort of berry tones, and then you've got the lighter tones. So it is quite a nice palette, a very soft palette, I'd say. That's the perfect word for this one, soft. Next I've got the Dose of Colours Ice Cream palette. So I picked up a lot of Dose of Colours because of sort of Desi and Katie and that. They were using this brand quite a lot because I think it was Anna who owned Dose of Colours, and she was one of their friends. It only took one of them to use this palette once, and I picked it up. I was so easily influenced back then. But really the only shades that I've tend to use here are the Mint Chip and a few of the browns. This one is a very stunning colour, but it's quite chalky. I don't think it's as pigmented. And then Banana Split is very forgettable. It's so washed out. So I think that it's a very meh palette. I mean, at the time I was like, oh my god. But now I just sort of like, I can't really think of how to use it. Next I've got Naked Smoky. I do like this one. I think it's okay. It's not a very memorable palette. I don't really have a lot of these tones in my collection because I'm not really like a spooky, gothy... I don't really like dark shadows on me, really. There are some nice colours in here, like I do like this middle portion just here, but I don't really reach for it, you know. Next, I've got my first high-end palette purchase. This is the Urban Decay collaboration with Oz the Great and Powerful movie. So you've got this tin, and then you've got the little mirror, and it comes with this kit here. So this bit had the black eyeliner, one of the 24-hour glide-on pencils that I still have to this day. And then we've got some browns, and then we've got these pops of colour here. So this one was very much loved. I used this on my brows as well because I had like dark mousy brown hair at the time. And I've kind of gone back to my roots now. I was blonde for years. Yeah, so as you can see here, this is the Theodora palette, and there was a Glinda palette as well. This came with a red like lip crayon that was a very nice sort of almost glossy red. It was very pretty. But what I love is this here. So this was Theodora's actual look using this palette, and you've got the little face chart with the products, and you've got the step-by-step on how to achieve it. So I would sort of use that and recreate it, and I think that I might use this in one of my throwbacks to try and recreate that little face chart. But I don't think I have the lipstick anywhere. It might be in one of my did I use it completely? Because this is years old, mind. So I might have to use a different red. But this is so nostalgic, I won't ever get rid of this. And it's still got the little cardboard packaging. I'm not really counting this one. This is just like an eyeshadow single quad from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This palette here, this is from Beauty Bay. This is the Midnight 9 colour palette. So you know they do like the small, medium and large palettes. This one I didn't purchase. This one came free because I spent over a certain amount on Beauty Bay. But I think it's okay. I think I did a couple of videos with this on my YouTube where I did one blue, one purple. Not a very memorable palette, I will say. Sometimes Beauty Bay does shadows well and sometimes they really don't. I think I mostly use the shimmers, a couple of the mattes, but there are some, like this one I didn't even touch. I must have used them with other palettes to achieve the look I wanted. This I could easily declutter. Next I've got another product from Melt. So I'm counting this one as a palette because it is a stack. You've got the mirror and then you've got each of these sort of shades. This is the Rust stack, and as you can see the name fits it really well. It's very antique shades. I do really like this one. This is a very classic sort of throwback for me. You know, I used to wear a lot of these sort of tones. Love that one and that one, and like that one there. Melt Cosmetics is still a brand. I know a lot of brands that I did have makeup for sort of stopped selling stuff anymore, but I think Melt is still a thing. I do like this one. I think it's very nice, and very nice to sort of travel with as well, because you can be like, oh well, I'm not really going to use that dark brown, I'll just take that out and just take those ones. Or oh, I'm not really going to use the orange, I'll just take those. You know, it's very nice and well thought out sort of packaging. Next I've got another Beauty Bay palette. This is the Fiery 2.0 42 colour palette. I like this and then I don't like this. I do think the colour story is quite pretty. They've packed a lot in here and it is very much a fiery colour story. Some of the shimmers I don't like. They are a bit like putty and they don't go on the eyes nicely. Some of them are very pretty. Some of the shadows, I think, why on earth have you got these like really bright yellows and then you've got shimmers that don't really go with it? I don't understand some of it in here. Some of it I do like, some of the mattes I really like. I tend to like the top 2 rows a bit more. I don't mind some of this, but again, it's not a palette that I'm sort of, I think, yeah, I need to use that. I've got other palettes that I do value more than this one. So I think this is my only big Beauty Bay palette, and it kind of set the tone for me that I didn't want to purchase anymore. There are some out there that look really pretty, but they're just not for me. Again, I'm not really going to count this one, but I will just show it. These have got my, is it with Love Cosmetics, the pressed glitters that were kind of viral on TikTok like 2 years ago. Look how stunning they are. But I've just got a couple of those in here. Same again, I've got a Z palette. So I remember the Z palettes where it's got really dusty, crusty eyeshadows in. So you've got some Makeup Geek, some MAC, and then you've got some Inglot here. I do need to chuck that out really, because that's years old and I just haven't cleaned it. Really gross. This one is such a throwback. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Mayamia palette. So she did collaborate with a lot of influencers. She did an Amrezy palette, a Jackie Aina palette. I only picked up this one though. And, you know, rest in peace Mayamia. I saw that she had passed away a few years ago. So, you know, I kind of keep it for that reason as well. I do like the funky packaging, how you've got the different prints on here. And as you can see, this was a very, very loved palette. I've pretty much used up all of vanilla. You've got the classic shades in here that Anastasia Beverly Hills, like caramel, warm taupe, sienna. You've got fresh peach and aqua, which are these two here. I remember doing a look where I had peach here, aqua here. I had like caramel and sienna in the crease. Yeah, it just really takes me back to all the looks I did with this because I was so obsessed with it. And because I couldn't really afford to get too much makeup at once, you can see how much I really, really went into this palette because, you know, I couldn't really afford anything else. So yeah, that really does hold a place in my heart. Keeping in with Anastasia Beverly Hills, I've got the Modern Renaissance palette here. This was just a local celebrity at its time. You know, you've got a bunch of shades that were very much sort of breaking the internet. Like, not a lot of people use these colours in eyeshadows. So they really did something with this palette. It is a nice palette. I haven't reached for it in ages, and I will definitely be using this in my throwback series, just because of how much I loved her. And I remember watching Holly Boone on YouTube and all of her tutorials and, you know, recreating them with this palette. Next, I've got the Be Perfect Carnival palette. So this is the, I think it's the first collaboration Stacey Marie, makeup artist, did with them. I don't like this. I really, really regret buying it. She did much better eyeshadow palettes after this one. I remember signing up. Sorry, I'm like really uncomfortable in my chair because I've been filming all bloody day. And my back hurts. I did sign up to one of her online courses where you learn a bunch of different looks, and she does really in-depth tutorials. So I have learned a lot from Stacey Marie. But this palette I don't like at all. Don't like the highlighters here. Some of these shadows are okay. I've used some of the shimmers, but I really haven't used them a lot. It's something that, again, I could very easily declutter. So we've got some Juvia's Place. We've got the Magic by Juvia's. Nice colours in here. Really like this one. Love the green. I like the shift to this one. I do prefer more of the shimmers than the mattes in here. And it's one of those palettes that I'd need to have another palette with as well to kind of make the look cohesive, because it's sort of got pops of colour and then the mattes don't really go with it. This was the pink palette that I was on about that I much prefer to Jeffree Star Pink Religion. This is the P.Louise But Does It Come in Pink palette, and you can see how much better this one is, where you've got a lot of the lighter pink shades. She's got a nice array of shimmers. It kind of goes from dark to light. I think some of these are more purpley, a little bit like brownie purple. So I would have liked a bit more, I don't know. But as far as it goes, I do think it's a very nice pink palette, and I can create a lot of looks with this. I do really, really like this one in comparison. I would love it if she did a big chest of them. Like, I'll show you a couple that I've got, where it's the green one and the purple one. I think she could have really done a nice, like, big pink palette with it. But I do like this one. I've got the Morphe 39A palette. This one, I've got this on my eyes today. I used it with the P.Louise Money Shot palette. I think this one was a Black Friday palette. Again, I haven't bought Morphe in years, so I don't know if they're still a brand, because I know they got rid of a load of their stores and just kind of got rid of a lot of their employees quite quickly. I'm not really inspired looking at this because it's just brown. It's a sea of brown with some like colours in it. I don't know why I wanted this palette because it's so brown, and some of these look exactly the same. But hey ho, I've got it now, and I think I've used it a handful of times. So again, if I needed to declutter, this is something I'd declutter. Made by Mitchell. This is the Head in the Clouds palette. Like the packaging, very Made by Mitchell. But this palette is all over the shop. Like, this got a mirror. But look at that. It's so colourful. It's just so random. You definitely need to have another palette next to this to kind of work with. There's a couple of neutral shades in here, but it's mostly colour. I mean, I kind of like that you've got, you know, green, green, green. You know, you've got a shimmery white, you've got like a matte white, and then you've got a couple of yellows, you've got like an orange. I can see where he's going with some of it, but it is very random. Like, why have you got this hot pink and then this purple? Because you've got, I mean, this little purple corner here, but I think this pink is too dark for like this shimmer. I've used some of these. I do think the shimmers are really nice in here, but yeah, it's definitely something that I'd need to have another palette next to it to work with. Next, I've got the Jeffree Star Thirsty palette just here. This one was a present from Jake for Christmas, I think. This one is a very, it's not memorable, if I were to say that bluntly. I like some of these in the middle. I do like these three here, but the rest of it is just meh. You know, some of these, they're okay. Like, he does shimmer very well in some of his palettes, as you can see here. But they're not memorable. I do have shimmers in other palettes that are more cohesive with the shadows next to them. So again, this is something that I could declutter. Now, Orgy is one of my favourite palettes, not only from Jeffree Star, but in general. This is such a gorgeous neutral palette. This is all matte. You've got warm tones, you've got cool tones, it's very neutral. I love how you've got a bunch of different light shades, and then I love it when a palette comes with a white and a black. I've used this so much whenever I've got a neutral eye. I tend to pick this one. It's very nice, very rude palette with rude names, but if I was still building a freelancing kit, still trying to get into that, I would have this as part of my kit. I kind of gave up with it. I started doing friends and family, and then COVID happened and I just kind of fell out of love with it. I just preferred doing it on myself, really, which is why I never really took off with it. Next, I have got a Jeffree Star Alien. So I remember this was a Christmas present off my mum. I really wanted this one. This is so random. I really like the green. Every time I open this palette, I think, yes, I need to work with that green. It is stunning. But a lot of them are very dark. I very rarely reach for this palette. I can see that I definitely went into a lot of the shimmers, but I didn't really use a lot of the mattes. I was very scared of using the greys when I was first starting off with makeup. But yeah, I haven't really touched into a lot of these. I've mostly used the greens, as far as I can see, and sort of the goldy shades. But it is very cool packaging. And I've still got the little spacey sort of carton to it as well. Next, I've got a couple of my favourites here, so these would definitely be within my top 5. I've got the P.Louise like chests, really. I've got the Money Shot, which is sort of featuring shadows on my eyes today. And I love how they've got the drawer bit as well, so you think, oh yeah, that's a stunning palette. Or pow, you've got this bottom bit as well. I like how the top ones are very sort of bright greens, forest greens, and then the bottom bit you've got more golds and neutral colours. It's a really nice palette, and you can create so many different looks with it. I remember when I first got this, if you really scroll back on my YouTube, you'll see just how much I love this palette and how many different looks I was just churning out. This really got my creative juices flowing. I loved this. And keeping in with that, we've got the purple version. So this is where I was sort of talking about how I'd love a pink version, but P.Louise only came out with that smaller pink palette. This one is very much like Aladdin, where you've got the little lamp, It lights up as well. Just like that. Wow. So again, love the top part with these like jewel tone purples. Absolutely stunning. I've created so many looks with these. And then you've got this bottom bit where you've got, oh, like look at that one. That one's such a rich purple, and you've got these almost like periwinkle. It's just absolutely stunning. I love this one. I'm so inspired whenever I see it. Yeah, such gorgeous palettes. So I've got a few more P.Louise ones here in this pile. This is the Droplet of Magic palette. So this one was part of the budget box where you could have one of two, and it was sort of randomly sent to you. You didn't get to pick. So these kind of look like a spell book. So you've got the embossed with all the like spiderweb detailing. I wanted this one, so I was glad that I got this one in the budget box. I wanted it for this side because I don't really have a lot of these tones. I really wanted to get into them, and I can see that I have done a few looks with these. I do like these shimmers, and then we've got sort of the cool tone sort of greens and blues here. Stunning, really stunning. And you can sort of padlock this. It comes with a padlocking key. And then at the back, we've got this one, which is a bit more sort of hocus pocus, I say. Like purpley, you've got some reds in there. I haven't really used the purples because I've got the P.Louise purple palette that I've just shown, but I think I have used some of the ready tones at the bottom. Just a really pretty palette that I do need to use more. I feel like I kind of picked up these palettes, I used them once or twice, and then moved on to the next one. And next I've got P.Louise You Give Me Butterflies. So again, this was from a budget box where it depended on what colour you got, and I got the yellow one. It's okay, but I didn't want the yellow one. I think you could get like blue, purple, green, pink. I'm not sure, but I picked up, but I got the yellow within my box. It's okay. I like the shimmers more than I like the mattes. As you can see here, the mattes are very sort of bright. It's not a palette that I'd want to just use these shadows with. I want to use something neutral or something else as well, as it's too yellow, you know. But this one reminds me of the Naked Honey palette, the like goldy one. Some of these are very sort of stunning shimmery shades. I do think that she does shimmer quite well. But yeah, again, I think this is something that I could declutter because I have nice gold shades within other palettes as well. Next, I've got this mini palette here. This is the Star Ranch palette from Jeffree Star. I think I got it in one of his mystery boxes. This is a nice palette. I do like the shimmers in here, but this is my favourite. It's such a stunning blue that every time I do a blue eyeshadow look, I have to use it because it's so pretty. The other ones, they're okay, but they're not very memorable. You've got some neutral palette. You've got some neutral shades. You've got this green, some blues, but yeah, this one is just the highlight for me. And then we have Blue Blood. So this is again Jeffree Star in one of his sort of casket like chest ones. Wow, just like that. I held off on getting this for so long because I didn't really know how I felt about using blue eyeshadow because I had blue eyes. I didn't think it really went, so I just tended to use more neutrals. And then when I was really getting into colour, I picked this up and I've loved it for so long. This one is such a nice dark blue to really start off the look. A few really pretty blues in here that I would sort of use as my next shades to really create that depth to it. This is a really nice inner corner, like shimmery colour. A few nice neutrals here as well. Some of them I don't really rate, like some within this middle row I'm not a massive fan of, but I do like this palette. I do like the blues in here. Next I have got Blood Sugar. So this one really sort of popped off, I guess. I loved Jeffree Star for bringing this one out, and these reds and just everything about it I just loved, because I hadn't really seen these kind of colours within a palette before. Really like this side. This side I absolutely adore it. This side, somewhat okay. I don't think I used much of it. The shimmer, it was quite nice. And I did use some of these purpley ones down here as well. But yeah, I do really love the reds in here, and I will definitely have to use this as part of my throwback palette series because of how much I just love this and how much of a big deal it was for me to purchase. This is one of my newest palettes. I got this last year, but it was given to me rather than me purchasing it. This is the Be Perfect Mini Muted Shadow palette. Very neutral. You've got some shimmers, you've got some mattes. This is something I could very easily travel with. Very, very pretty. Not much to say, it's just a really pretty neutral palette, really. Next we have got Jeffree Star Jawbreaker. This is one of my top favourite palettes for Jeffree Star. He's done this so well. The colours in here, you've got brights, you've got pastels, and the shimmers are just delicious. The way that they go on the lid and they look, it's just stunning. I love the colour series here, how he's got like rainbows and then he's got these like pastel colours. It's so cohesive. You can use like these 3 blues, you've got a couple of different like pinks. You can really see a few different eye looks within here, and then you can of course go colourful as well. Yeah, it's really, really stunning, and it's one of my favourite palettes from him. I'd have to say Orgy, Jawbreaker, and potentially sort of Blue Blood are my top 3 Jeffree Star palettes. And again, that was a palette that I held off for so long before getting, and I wished I'd got it sooner. Stunning. Next I've got the Alice in Wonderland palette. This is a collaboration with Urban Decay. So this was before I worked at Debenhams. I was sort of picking up these things. The Urban Decay was like my favourite brand at the time. So this is what it looks like. Then you've got I'm not strange, weird, off, nor crazy. My reality is just different from yours. Just on this bit here. You open it up and you've got a little butterfly. Stunning, isn't it? And then you open this up and you've got the palette. So I will say at the time I was like, oh my god, you've got like green and blue and pink and everything in here, but it does fall a little flat now that I'm looking at it. I think I used this a handful of times because I can see I've gone into some of the neutral colours. I've done a few pops of colour and I've gone into the greens and blues. I think where I was just starting out with makeup, I mostly did neutral with a pop of colour on the lid, or very neutral up top, and then that's my dog dreaming next door. He's so cute. And then I must have done like a neutral lid up top with like a pop of colour on the lash line. I think it is a really pretty palette, and I will just continue to have it because it's just so stunning. I don't know how I'd feel about the shadows. They don't look the best quality now that I'm sort of looking back on the palette. Next I've got this little palette here from the Balm Cosmetics. This is the Auto Balm Face Palette. This is an example of one where you can use it in a few different ways. They've put here that one can be for blush or shadow, lid or as like liner, brows or crease, or highlighter or shadow. So this was just a little palette that I got from my sister one year, and I just kind of kept it because I did use it for a lot of my face. Again, my little sister got me this one year for either my birthday or Christmas. This is the Stila palette, and it's the body palette. So it's very sort of jewel toned. I mostly used this side because I really liked how light these colours were. I wasn't really into the dark shades when she bought this for me, so I didn't really have the knowledge on using them. I was a bit scared of using them, but I mostly used this side, and then I liked the pop of blue. So I'll have to go back and see what these are like. They do have a lot of shimmer in them. They look like almost like a matte shade, but with a bit of shimmer in it, not essentially made as a shimmer. So I'll have to sort of see. I don't think they'd have a lot of colour payoff though. Stila hasn't really been a memorable brand from me. I've tried a few things from them, but I've preferred other brands. I've got Delicious. So this is a makeup studio where one of my sort of favourite makeup artists works, and she did a makeup palette. This one's called the Pancake palette, and she did a whole look with this. As soon as I saw it I was like, yep, need it, bought it. So I like these shadows. I don't like these three. They're a bit chalky. I don't really like the colour payoff, but these ones are very nice. I've done a look using black currants, and that on the lid is just so stunning. Again, it's a palette that I think I could easily declutter, but I do like the colours in here and I bought it to support her. Oh, I'm at the home stretch. I'm down to the last three. Okay, so you've got the MAC Toledo palette. So this is the Bell Greens one, where you've got 6 shades. I bought this because of Georgia Cutts, that worked at MAC at the time. She would basically do her makeup every day for MAC and upload a photo to Instagram, say what she was wearing, and I would purchase it. I used to work at New Look at the time, and I worked a weekend job, and then my hours increased when I sort of left college and stuff, so a lot of my pay would go on MAC Cosmetics. So I was still living at home and only paying a little bit of rent. Oh, those were the days, weren't they? But yeah, I've got this one here, and I've kept it for that reason, because it's so nostalgic to me that I saved up and bought this. It's a nice palette. I do like some of these shades. I like this one in particular because of the just pop of green. It's a very olivey toned, but again, I think it's something I'd need to have something else with it, and I think I'd use these more inner corner than lid. So yeah, I think it's one of those that's sort of like, you like 1 or 2 shades out of it, but at the time I loved it and I used to wear it so much. And lastly, I've got Naked Honey. This had me in a chokehold when it launched. Stunning, stunning palette. This gold shade Honey, delicious. Every time I open it, I have to tell myself, right, use something else, because I would always use it. Really like the tones in here. Some of them are similar. I wish they'd done a little bit different. Like, that could have easily been a yellow. That would have been like, oh, beautiful. But it's nice for Urban Decay, you know. And I've kept it because I just love that honey shade. It's such a nice palette, a really nice soft palette, you know. There you go, guys, that was the end of the video. I really hope you've enjoyed watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!